Okay.
Yes.
It's the BBP TV show since 2012, where amazing guests share their digital adventures. Who will we meet today? Small biz influencer, up-and-coming trendsetter, accomplished author? You never know who'll be dropping by. And now, here's your host, Elaine Lindsay, the bionic glamourpreneur with True social media, who's the second most curious person on the planet.
Hi there. Hi there. This is a very unusual show we're having today. I'm really glad to see everybody. And this is a plethora of guests. It's time for us to kick this damn year to the curb, and we're going to do it in a really funny way. I assembled some of the best comedians on the planet. Thank you, all of you, for coming and joining me. Honestly, I cannot tell you how touched I am that these marvelous people have come here. You can go to our page on BBP TV and you will see all of their accolades because they're all a mile long. We're going to start off right away. I'm going to start off with Carla Collins. Go ahead, give us whatever you think you want to say about this year. Go ahead. You got a minute or two. Tell us what you think.
Okay, well, I'm a chat monster, so it may blow over a minute.
Well, that's
now I just feel bad for 2020. It's been bullied since March. I can't. It became the Nickelback of calendar years. I feel really bad for it, and I kind of long for the beginning of the year when we thought our biggest problem was going to be a candle that smelled like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. And that apparently, for some reason, J-Lo and Shakira upset people during the Super Bowl game. So what to say? There was a lot of things: murder hornets, rapey Komodo dragons. Trump got COVID, and then Corona had to quarantine for 14 days. That was kind of a cool switch. I want to say something positive. They say to live in interesting times, and when glory holes are more popular, or actually safer than drinking holes, I think that's pretty interesting. Or when they said that the coronavirus could be transmitted by farts, and then all of a sudden in 2020, pull my finger was considered a death threat. And that appeals to my humor.
Oh, Carla, that was such an incredible start. Wow. Exactly.
I tried to start strong, kids. I'm already drinking, by the way. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Drinking is how we all manage, right?
No.
Okay. No. Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, I drink, but here's the laugh. As everyone will tell you, it's water or Diet Pepsi. I'm not a big heavy drinker. Anyway, let's go ahead, and who else wants to take a run at 2020? Who's next?
Who can follow fart COVID? Look, I didn't know that.
It is pretty highbrow. It's pretty highbrow, ladies.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, is that a thing?
It was around April or May, and that was a headline that, doctors feared, I don't know if it was Fauci, but doctors feared that corona could be transmitted via farts. I giggled like a 14-year-old boy for about 30 days.
Why is the UK so infested with, because they don't fart there, from what I understand.
If that's the case, I've infected my whole neighborhood with it. Let me ask you guys something about 2020. Is it right to be talking about a meal while you're having a meal? On Tuesday, you're talking about lunch on Friday? Because that's all I was doing. You're eating. What are we eating on Friday? And say it's Tuesday. I need to know. And it really, I think for a lot of us, it slowed things down. I remember with John, we were on a back-to-back cruise gig where we did like 35 shows in 2 weeks. And we didn't know what day it was. Remember that, John? And now we're in the same situation, not knowing what day it is without the gigs.
I'm in.
So
I asked my wife this morning. If it was Thursday or Friday. Is it Friday? I can't remember.
Exactly. So I think
I
I think we've completely lost sense of time. I don't go to bed till 2, 3 in the morning. I'm watching Henry DiCarlo, who I hate his guts, on KTLA, do the weather because I don't know. I'm yelling at the TV. My wife wakes up. Who are you yelling at? The weather guy. So I've like friggin' lost it. And I can't go to Canada because I got to quarantine for 2 weeks. I'm supposed to go to Australia. I can't go anywhere. So we're just basically like everybody, I guess, guys. We're just entertaining ourselves for the most part, and doing these Zoom things, and everybody telling me how this is the new norm. This is nice to see everybody and do this, but I don't subscribe to the new norm. This is not normal, not for us. We're not supposed to be with our families this long. Like, I'm surprised my wife's still with me.
You're not subscribing to framing your shot.
Right.
Yeah, move it, and I hope the computer screen towards you a little bit, Ann.
I know.
Hey, John, but you don't. It's funny, they say that I'm glad to be with some people, but I hope I can keep the distance with a lot of others. I don't want to see them anyway. So that's been great. Some people, we haven't been able to see each other. Let's keep it that way. I don't want to see your face.
That's the funny part about quarantine or this is staying at home. I'd like to apologize to everybody because a couple of years ago, I thought to myself, I would like to stop traveling. And I prayed that year a few times that I would stop traveling. And apparently that prayer has been answered. And I just like to apologize in a general sense. But I haven't, staying home is, as it turns out, not difficult for me. Being alone, not difficult.
Yeah.
The further I get from performing, we are currently at 10 months from the last time I performed in real performance, not standing in my dining room with people on mute or on mic while I told a joke and thought, did I get a laugh with that? Let's go to the next joke. 10 months. And it occurred to me the other day that I may not have to warm up before my first live show because as I got older, I needed to physically warm up in order to get my blood going, something I could do in my head when I was young. And I may not have to for the first live show if I get to do another one because I'll be can we swear on this show?
Yeah.
I'll be so fucking scared that my nerves will be enough to get my blood going. But I did write a movie this year.
Wow.
I
wrote a movie about an aging mathematician who finally, as he's closing in on death, decides to fulfill his lifelong sexual fantasy, and he goes to a brothel. It's called Fermat's Last Threesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have no place else to give that joke. Thank you very kindly. I didn't write a movie, but I am writing.
That's good. What are you writing, John?
Well, I'm writing a second novel, and I've completed a book of poetry. And my first novel and my book of poetry are going to be published in the summer. Although a small Canadian press, it's not going to cause a lot of ripple, but that's okay. And I did this crazy podcast that I've been doing since April.
Yeah. That's great.
And
What's your podcast? Great.
Thank you. Who said that?
I did. What's it called?
The podcast, it's called The Bad Piano Player. And
Nice.
it's just me going through the American songbook. I'm the bad piano player. I'm the mediocre singer. We discuss the history of different songs, different composers, etc. My daughter plays.
Sounds good.
My daughter plays my sound recordist assistant. We did a George and Gracie routine in the vaudeville episode, and oh my God, my daughter, did she do some Gracie? Holy crap! I didn't even have to tell her how to do it.
That's so great.
That's great.
I've been so obsessed with that. The thing that made me successful as a comedian was I was able to get completely obsessed on one thing and stick with it. and that the podcast has been my salvation. I would have gone insane without it. So I have something to do every day.
I think podcasts became like masks. I think they're mandatory, right? Do we not all have one now? I think we have
Yeah,
to.
left feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
people. Everybody has a left foot and a podcast. It's true.
Well, most people. Cathy, what have you been doing these past 10, 11 months?
I've been retired, but unfortunately without money, which is not what I hoped for. I mean, I've been, very little stand up, and as John said, not real stand up. It was, in my living room, and sometimes not wearing pants, and that whole thing, and not feeling like, oh God, I watched an ex-boyfriend's stand-up routine from 32 years ago, or even more, 38 years ago. And it was so great to hear the laughter. I forgot what that sounds like. The laughter in a room sounds so great. So I have missed that. But in lieu of that, I completed writing my solo show, and I'm actually, we're working on another rewrite of it, although we did complete it, but now we're just going to do another rewrite for another purpose, and I'm going to be doing it at UCLA for some, either on Zoom or live. And so that's been exciting for me. That's been a positive thing. And I have to say that being able to see people on Zoom and being in touch with people who are not next door, who are across the country, who are in other countries, has been a huge saving grace this year. I mean, I've loved being able to connect with people, and not have to worry about traffic and not have to worry about traveling. It's been good, and hanging with my dog has been great. It's been really great hanging with my dog.
Cathy's gorgeous.
Thank you.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a red mutt. He's a mutt.
Yeah, Lena.
Where can I show you a picture of him? Let's see.
Sure.
And just because the guys will want me to, this is StreamYard, folks. This is not Zoom. So there are other places out there that you can do shows online. Been using Zoom for years. It's a great platform when you're doing things that you want to sort of keep them a little longer and not have to edit. StreamYard is awesome because it does all that work for you.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Hey, Cathy, we just got Zoomy on Christmas Eve. She came in. She's a little Shih Tzu.
Oh,
So we got a little. This is Zoomy. Yeah, they got a puppy, and everybody's happy. So Cathy mentioned her dogs, and here's Zoomy. This is Zoomy. Hi, say hi, Zoomy. She's only 8.5 weeks old.
Wow.
Cute.
All right,
Adorable.
I have to go get Dr. Zira. Hang on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna have to go
Still a
get
puppy.
Dr. Zira for
I
sure.
got like 1,000 animals here, but let me pick my favorite.
Yeah.
Who got
I
those
could
things?
try and go, but it's not going to work out. Our dog does not do pick me up.
Carla's doing
Yeah.
like an agent impression.
You know,
Hang on, I'm
let's
gonna go pick my
give it to
favorite for the show.
I didn't write any jokes for the show.
No.
Carla wrote jokes for the show. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
Charlie.
It is
Hey, Lisa, don't you have a dog and a cat?
Yay!
Yeah.
Here's the 10-pound
Where's Dr. Zira?
Really, Carla? You got to compete with me with your dog. Mine's younger.
All right, hold on. We'll get my damn dog.
Go get your dog, John. Go get your dog. Go get your
Look at our
dog.
dogs.
All right, I gotta get Chappie.
Chappie, come on.
Go get your dog, Lisa. We'll bring our pets on. Everybody's getting their pets.
A lot of people do this here.
Come here, Chap. Come here, baby. Come here, baby.
I got Carrie Price here. Here's my pet. Carrie Price. There, look at that. Aww.
Adorable.
John's got his dog too.
This is one of my dogs.
Everybody's got their dog and cat.
Hi.
I'll put a picture.
It's okay, baby.
That's hilarious.
There, stop.
I
There you
have
go.
no pet.
There we go.
It's
Elaine, do you have a dog?
Where's
Boy.
Olivia? Olivia, come here, honey.
Good boy. Good boy.
You guys look so good,
Okay.
but my dog won't. My dog won't.
Okay, I'm gonna put you down.
This is my other dog.
Okay. I see your pets, and I call my daughter. Let's see. Where's your kids? Come on.
Nice.
Everybody.
Say Happy New Year, Livy.
Happy New Year.
Okay, let's go.
Happy New Year.
Oh my gosh, you're such a good girl.
16-year-old pool boy.
That's excellent.
Sorry, you win.
That's hilarious.
Who's
But,
got
that's a good.
Where's the dog? Where's the dog on somebody's thing?
Okay, I'm sharing my dog then, since everybody else has a dog. There's my dog.
Not everybody else.
Share your dog. Where's your dog?
Oh, sweetie.
Oh, cute. What a cutie pie. That's great, Anna.
No, that's
Share
not
your
Anna's.
doggy.
That's mine.
That's not me.
Elaine,
No,
Was that your
that's my
dog, or you just picked one off the internet?
No,
Judy,
it's my dog.
Judy, are you seriously telling us you don't have a dog?
Of course I have a dog.
She has a dog.
Oh, there. Okay.
Oh, there's
Thank
Judy.
God.
There's Judy's dog. Yeah.
Okay, go. Go.
He's in the other room. He's in the other room.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Of course I have a dog.
Too many people here. And Lisa, you get to see your dogs.
did you see Lord Nelson? We
Lord
just
Nelson.
literally just walked in the door from the vet.
No,
Oh,
The biggest
Oh, no.
bone you've ever seen.
What happened?
2020 happened.
to your dog.
He had a little growth in his eye, and then it fell off, and we thought he was fine. And then last night he started going crazy. So I just took him to the vet, and they do eye surgery to have it removed now.
Oh,
No.
wow.
Oh.
Let me guess. The magic number was $3,000.
No, he had cancer surgery about 4 months ago on his leg. That was, drum roll please, Judy, between the the ultrasound and the surgery was $6,000.
How much?
Holy shit.
$6,000.
Wow.
Wow.
$6,000. Wow.
Are you
We got
moving
insurance
that
for the
person
dog.
in?
Smart.
Yeah.
6,000.
Yikes.
Lisa, do you have the insurance? We got the puppy with SPCA insurance, covers wellness and everything.
We had
So
it
we
before,
got it.
and it didn't
Yeah.
really add up because by the time you pay all the deductibles and all the other nonsense, then it just wasn't worth it. So, but this guy would have been worth it because he's got a heart condition, cancer, an eye growth.
Right.
We're
Poor
willing
dog.
to feed the dog as long as it needs to eat.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, we no longer pay for veterinary care.
About a month ago too. She was 16. She went to kitty cat heaven.
Oh,
And the other dog took your last antibiotic today for UTI. So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Ooh. You can't
God,
get him
like
drink
it.
cranberry juice?
Yeah. She's been having too much sex, I think. I'm not
I
sure.
was
much
gonna say,
like-
kind of a slutty pet, but
But
okay.
it's- Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And I'm lucky I had all that political crap that I'm on, all those boards and stuff that I was elected to. So I've been zooming away 2-3 nights a week, listening to people rattle on about things that are really not very important, but keeps me busy. Oh, and I cleaned the garage. You saw my pictures on Facebook, and I put 45 years of photos into 31 scrapbooks.
Cool.
31
Yeah, what's up, Ross?
amazing.
months to do it, but it is done, people. And they're really cute little cutouts and things. But I had stacks and stacks and stacks of boxes of photos of wedding
Yeah.
photos,
Are you on this?
of wedding photos of me.
Are you watching it?
And when I finished them, somebody had the nerve to put on Facebook. Well, now you have to digitize it.
Man, thanks.
Yeah, forget it.
Yeah,
Are we doing phone a friend?
Seem to have found.
Are we taking? Is this a telethon? Are we taking calls?
Yeah.
To raise money for my vet bills.
Yeah.
We could turn it into a telethon. Everybody, I'm sure, has something. I
Or
want to
we could
use
save
the
it-
vet, but I was thinking of having my husband put down. Did the pet insurance cover that?
Probably.
By the way, Dwight Slade just called and wanted you all to know that he's watching.
Nice.
Hi, Dwight.
Dwight. Long time.
By the way, did you hear that the plastic surgeons are so busy because of Zoom and these kind of meetings? That people
Oh man.
see what we look like in person up close, and a lot of people are going in and getting their face.
Yeah, but they're only busy because of Nicole Kidman. Let's be fair.
Oh my God.
You know what? It should just be, I've been making my own homemade Botox with almond milk, Elmer's glue, and some essential oils. So I'm just saying.
I've been making mine. I've been making my own Botox. You get the when you buy turkey and or chicken or meat, and there's that little pad underneath. That's probably full of botulism and all that. You
There
just
you go.
sort of lay it on your head like a pack,
Making
like one of
your
those
own
nice
Botox.
packs. Yeah,
Beautiful.
a little poison on your face. It's fantastic.
You gotta
The
try that.
surgeons are very, very, very busy.
I had surgery this year, my first ever surgery
Yeah.
at age 61.
Wow.
And I thought it was interesting that having never had it, when they put you on the table, within a couple of seconds of lying down on the actual operating table, you're being bound up,
Yeah.
and stuff is put on your face, and you're immobilized. It was sort of a cross between lethal injection and alien abduction probe. And they had given me Ativan, I guess, something to calm me down. But I completely freaked out, as much as you can when you're on a heavy, not freak out drug.
Oh, is there footage?
I made them take the thing off my face and said, why are we, I mean, you're going to knock me out. I promise I won't move once you knock me out. So.
Are you sure you were in a hospital?
How'd it go?
Oh, fine. It was pure luck. It was pure luck that I went to the doctor in March or April because I thought I had a tumor on my neck. There appeared to be a bulge on my neck, and he said, I think it's fat.
Ouch.
That's nice.
But he said, since you were a smoker, we should do an MRI. So we did an MRI on my neck, and they called me after the MRI and said, we found something in your nose. So I had to go to another specialist, and I had a fungal infection that completely filled up my back nasal cavity.
Oh
That was
my
moving
God.
toward my left eye and my brain.
Jesus.
Oh my
I
God.
had to go in, and actually what's weird is the fungal pus balls. That was the name of my high school band. But anyway.
I thought this was supposed to be Pornhub. This is awful.
Right, porn. They went in and
The worst
lasered me out.
Botox operator ever.
So what was the thing on your neck, John?
It was fat. The thing in my
And
neck
what
was
it-
fat.
Did they take it off?
No, I've been trying to diet to get rid of it.
You know, John has
Flappy.
right to his neck.
I did do
That's
some
hilarious.
stand up this year, although it was lying down because I too had to have some surgery, and it was sort of a twilight thing. And I had a cornea transplant because I'm going blind. And
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
so I'm lying on the table, and they've got me sort of in the twilight thing because you have to be awake. You got to be able to turn your eyes certain directions during the surgery.
Yeah.
And they all came in, and the surgeon, everybody introduced themselves. They said, "Oh, I'm, Bob, the scrub nurse. I'm, Dr. So and so." And I lifted my hand up. I said, "I'm Lisa Gay, the patient," and I got a big laugh. So that's
Good. Big laughs are good.
I was cracking jokes because when I went for the follow-up appointment the next day, they were all laughing. They said, "Wow, you were just really flying yesterday, weren't you?" I said, "I don't know what I said. What did I do?" But no, you were very funny. I said, "Oh."
Are you okay
Well-
now?
Well, I'm still, still waiting for it. This is the second transplant I've had, so
Okay.
we're getting there. The other eye works
Okay.
fine. I've got one eye that works. So.
Okay, that's good.
So you're
good.
winking at us.
We're all talking about our ailments. I got one to
I had
share
surgery.
since we're all sharing.
Let's share our ailments. Let's share our ailments.
But it's not really an ailment. This happened to me, and I want you to research it. I'm not going to get into details. But I had an episode which required manual disimpaction. Okay? And this is how much I love my wife. Look, it happens, a common practice. I'm not going to get into details. People listening, I want them to look up the word manual disimpaction. It's exactly what you think it is. Yeah. And I had it. I thought I was going to keel over and die. Everything got just frozen up in my bum. I don't know what happened. And it was a result of getting off the road.
You weren't getting into
Make sure you're
detail.
not on video.
I could not crap.
I get
I could not. It was like bricks. It wouldn't come out. And then my wife had to do.
Understand this.
You get it, hey, Cathy? And she did it, and that's how
I
much
get
I love
it.
this woman. Manual disimpaction.
Oh, yeah.
So is it like
My wife has
excavation?
assured
Kind of?
me that if I get to that point, it's over.
like you explode? Just shoot me. You just-
Elaine, you're looking very thin. Did you lose weight during the COVID?
I did.
You look wonderful.
It looks great,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
What
Yeah,
did you do?
I'm the only person I know who. My husband says he's found it. I lost 70 pounds, but
Whoa!
he's found most of it. He says.
How did you lose
Wow.
7 pounds? I want to know.
Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it.
Honest to God, I'm not taking the insulin I was taking anymore, and I've met most of you in person, so there was an awful lot more of me at one time. And the intermittent fasting, Dr. Jason Fung out of Toronto has completely changed things, and it's awesome because I'm 65 years old. It's about time I got semi-healthy.
That's amazing. That's great, Elaine.
Thanks.
It's great.
Thanks.
I had
You know what I
surgery
just
this year,
realized?
too. Oh, sorry, Angelo. Go ahead.
So sorry, Cathy. I just realized, Cathy, you're the only American on the whole show.
Oh, right.
I am?
You are, Cathy.
Oh, wow.
I just realized that.
Sorry,
That's
America,
awesome.
for representing.
But I'm a Brit. I'm a Brit, so we're we're around the world.
Kathy, what
Okay.
happened to you?
Well, I had surgery, and I don't want this to scare anyone because it's got a
She
gray
did.
ending. But I had breast cancer this year,
Oh, no.
and
Wow.
It's great though. I'm good.
Knock wood.
It
Knock
was
wood.
early, and I'm telling you that it shouldn't scare people. Just get checked, and I got checked, and I got rechecked and rechecked, and I got a lumpectomy, and I'm okay. And
Good.
that's that. I mean, don't let it frighten you.
That's right. Great.
Awesome.
Great
It
news.
happens.
And you can all say hi to my friend Mia Voss in Colorado, who's watching, saying hello, everybody.
Yeah.
He is another social media and all-around person that I hang around with kind of online, and she's just one of the people who's checking us out.
Nice.
Nice.
I hear something that sounds like a hamster wheel.
I hear something that
Something's
sounds
wrong.
like
It's our dog and this squeezy toy, Cathy.
It's my
Oh,
career.
squeaky toy. Okay.
John's
It's
career.
a puppy.
My career. God
A sex toy. I don't know what it is.
John, you mentioned you didn't want to go on the road. I had the exact same thought, not about the road, but early last year, after Christmas and everything, you're so busy. And I thought, oh God, I just want 2 or 3 days at home, alone, not having to do anything, not having to call anybody, not having to be responsible for anything. I just 2 or 3 days. That's all I need to reset. And here we are.
Good stuff. Crazy things. Jesus.
Well, I didn't have any medical procedures this year, but I think it's
All right, get off then.
Get on board here, Judy.
But I think it's a sign of the times because I got into a 45-minute discussion with a group of people on a Zoom call this week about their favorite pimple popper episodes. I think we're
I can't watch that show.
No.
I'm not going to get into
John, do your
detail.
neck. John can
I
still
love
to his
it.
neck.
John, where you want it?
Can you help
Oh,
John?
the neck. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
I
like a
can't even
discovery
watch
show.
the commercials, Judy. They gross me out so much. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Cathy, do you have a favorite episode? I saw you put it.
Well, I actually switched from that doctor to a different one that I found online. He's somebody in London, and I can't tell you how great his stuff is. It's just and people who are disgusted by it, they don't get the appeal, and I can't help them. But if you dig it, man, it's great stuff.
I
Great stuff.
cannot do it. I couldn't even change nasty diapers when my kid was a baby. My husband had to do it. No, I don't do any bodily fluids. The husband's in charge of all bodily fluids.
Can pimples get impacted? And you have to disimpact them, Benj?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Well, right, happen-
You have to get your wife to.
Anna's still thinking
Going to
about
a
that. They
topic
do.
now.
And I want to ask everybody here, Elaine, what's the
Yes.
one thing that you regret that you couldn't do this year that you wanted to do? Because for me, we were filming I was supposed to go to Santorini for a month in September. We were filming something huge and it got canceled. So that's my regret for 2020. How about everybody else? What's yours?
I miss hugging
Yeah.
so much.
Okay.
That's really my number one thing. I really miss hugging.
My kid graduated from college and we didn't celebrate it. And I haven't seen her in a year. She's in New York
Wow.
here. She can't travel. We can't travel. And I had planned this nice party for her graduating college and I haven't seen her in a year.
Dog.
Wow, I'm sorry.
That was a bad thing because she's quite annoying. So wins, yes and no kind of things. Yeah. And then my mom was supposed to come here for the winter and she couldn't come.
Wow, I'm sorry.
She's not.
The thoughts
I
you have,
know.
Yeah.
the thoughts that you have when you're alone with this stuff. My mother is going to be 90 in March,
Wow.
Wow.
and she's living on her own in an apartment in my hometown. My brother also lives there. And it occurred to me the other day that I would like this to be over so that I could go to her funeral. Because if she dies while this is going on, I'm not going to be able to go.
Right.
And
Right.
I'd never had a thought that weird before.
I share that with you, John. My mom's going to be 99 in February, and I don't know if she's going to make it. And
Wow.
and same thing. Although she's in hospice right now, and I did get to go back to New York to see her a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so glad I went, but I was so anxious about flying. I wore one of those face shields. I wore a mask, and it was as if I had never flown before. That's how anxious I was. And I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it. And now I know that I can do it. And I stayed away from people, and not everybody wore the face shield, and it was not fun, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
I got a story. I've been playing tennis with a guy for about 15 years, since the second Bush administration. And he's older than me, but he lives in the neighborhood. And over the last 3 or 4 years, he became a Fox News guy.
Oh boy.
And started talking about stuff when we were playing. And then this came up. So I'm playing tennis, and I started wearing a glove on my ball tossing hand. And I would only touch the balls with that hand. And he's poo-pooing the virus for most of the year, saying what bullshit it is and this and that and the other. And then a few weeks ago, before Christmas, well before Christmas. He says, I can't tomorrow. We're setting up for the party. He has business.
Wow.
I said, you're having a party? He said, yeah, we're having a holiday party at the business. And I said, well, okay, we can't play then until 2 weeks after the holiday party. And you're not sick. And 5 days after the party, he and his wife get it.
Oh wow!
Oh no.
And
Oh my God.
so instead of playing tennis, I start walking 5 miles a day. And I'm walking the other day, and he got it 2 or 3 weeks ago. He tested positive. So I'm walking, and I'm going down the street, and a car comes up and stops, a van, little minivan, and honks. And I turn, and it's him. And I'm literally like, don't open your fucking window. And I put my mask up. I don't know anyone wears glasses, Angie and Judy. The thing about the mask that drives me insane is
Yeah.
the only way to get it where it doesn't fog my glasses up is if it's brushing my eyeballs.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so I put the mask up, and he lowers his passenger window and says, I don't know when we're going to be able to play again. And I stopped myself from saying, I don't fucking care. But apparently it's not bad. And I'm of two minds there, because he poo-pooed it and then he gets it and he's already recovered, apparently. So so he's going to poo-poo it even more, you know? It's little idiotic frustrations of pandemic life.
You know, John, the hospital where my husband works at Huntington, which is a lovely hospital in Pasadena, and it's not a huge hospital, but they have over 200 COVID cases there, and they, the hospital is full, packed to the rim. There is not room for another body in there, and it's really stressful for everybody.
Of course.
He got vaccinated last week, his first shot, because he comes home from the hospital every day, and I'm like, oh. So he goes, changes and showers, and we watch TV in separate rooms. We really sort of live like we've always lived, but we're cleaner.
Now with an even.
I can say, leave me alone. You might have the COVID. So,
John, could you pray for like a mild case for me so I can get that bonus? That'd be nice. Separate floors.
I had two swollen lymph nodes in my neck in March, after they went down, it made me think I had the lump there, and I'm not sure I didn't have it then.
True. A lot of people say they had it in January, John, and December, because I had symptoms of it, like other people. Yeah. I was on a ship the first week of March. I came home March the 8th, and the whole last week of that ship, I was so afraid they wouldn't let me off.
Oh wow!
And so frightened that when they finally let me off and I flew home, oh my God!
Wow.
But
Well, it was hard for Carla, for you to come back with Dr. Zira to Canada, right?
Well, it wasn't bad, to be honest. I actually came back in September because I got to play some live gigs in that brief window where things were kind of open. Maybe it's me shutting everything down, because I think every time I play something live, shut down later. It was actually zero trouble for me to come in September, so I'm very grateful for that, especially with her. And I always joke that this pandemic caught me between husbands, so I of course quarantined with my older gentleman lover as opposed to the young guy, because that way I could go to the grocery store at 7. But you got to go for the perks. So I have to say, I don't know what it would be like now.
when I return, sometime in the new year, but I had zero issues coming in September. They just wanted to know where I was quarantined. And honestly, I didn't say I had Dr. Zero with me when I was in customs. They just said, did I have any meat? And I said, like, dead stuff? And they're like, yes. No. And then I just walked on through because it was my first time traveling. By the way, I become a vegan during the pandemic, but don't worry, I was already an asshole, so I haven't changed at all.
I used to do a joke about that. I said, my daughter announced to us she was vegan. And I said, why couldn't you just be gay like all the other kids? That wouldn't affect my diet.
Okay, but you're a cat person. Who knows what's next? I got a tattoo. I'm just, I'm out there like,
How long you staying, Carla?
Pandemic.
Carla, how long are you staying in Canada?
I'm not sure. I'll probably be here for the greater portion of this year. Probably go back and forth once, but yeah, I think I'll probably be mostly here.
Did you are you down in LA before you left?
What's that?
Did you close down your home and everything before you left?
I didn't, because I was only going to be here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So now I'm the guest who wouldn't leave, but I'm staying with my gay fiance, and it's all good here on the farm, which has been awesome. So yeah, I will head back, but then most likely come back here. Just got to see how things are, right? I'm trying to abide by what I think is best for everybody.
Well, you look fabulous as always.
Yeah, you look great.
Oh, well, thank you. I've got a ring light.
I forgot to use it.
About the pandemic are these ring lights. I want to bring one with me just in real life.
Yeah. Well, Carla's been busy too with comedic meditations, and she's herding cats and beautiful little kittens.
The comedic meditation's been good, guys, because I think we all can agree that Zoom comedy or StreamYard comedy or whatever you want to call it, we're like, fuck. But the meditation portion of my comedic meditations actually works better online, because then people don't feel judged and they can not wear pants. They don't have to drive home. They can drool. So that seems to work well with this type of delivery. So I'm very grateful for that. And who doesn't need to laugh and relax? I'm thinking this year.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my regret is that my little brother is in New Zealand, and although he's in the safest place on earth, they're never letting him come to the States. So I don't know when we're going to see each other again. We're thinking 2025.
Angelo, is your kid homeschooling like virtually, or are they going into class yet?
Yeah, it's virtually. She stopped school, going to actual school in March, and she's been home ever since. And it's. I mean, I feel bad for the kids because she wakes up, has breakfast, goes back into her room, and has to be online. And then I don't know if you guys know this thing called Roblox.
Yeah.
Which it translates into a second mortgage on your home. Yeah. That's what it costs you to get these kids. They're all on this Roblox, and it's an online game they play with their friends, and it costs on average $40-50 a week in chips and credits. And so, I feel bad, and I've asked her, what's the thing you miss the most about school? She goes, playing with my friends, going and social interacting. I mean, if it stays like this, I mean, she's basically going to turn into a stand-up, meaning not being around people and just hating things. So you'd be alone most of the time, because that's what we do. And it's funny because I'll say the nice thing about being home in the last 5 years, this is the most I've ever been home in my life. So I can spend time with my wife and daughter, and that's been nice.
They're waiting.
Then I realized,
Angelo.
What's that, Lisa?
I said they're waiting for you to go back on the road.
Well, that's what my wife said the other day. She's like, when are you going back to work? I go, why? Because we're short money. No, when are you really going back to work? Because you're disrupting my routine.
Yes.
And my daughter said, it's funny, Daddy, since you've been home, Uncle Jerry hasn't been coming over as often. So I don't know who Uncle Jerry is. Okay, moving on.
I never see a garbage man anymore.
Really, dude? Really?
Oh dear.
I'm just glad my kid has finished school because I would go nuts if she was home all day trying to homeschool her. Oh my God, there'd be blows. It would not go well at all.
Well, we're doing all the homework, pretty much. No, don't do that. But I don't understand this new math. The new math, because
what are you learning?
It's exactly. It's like even I'm like, how the hell are they doing this shit? I forgot most of it. And it's like, they're studying a lot of different things, but it's like, now that you're home with your kids, you don't want them to screw up, so you're helping them. But I guess they figured it out. The other thing I got to be careful about is because they're Zooming, that they can pick up all the noise and sounds of the home.
Yeah.
And now you got to be careful because it's like, you're not aware of it sometimes. They're in school and they can hear it. I'm screaming on the phone like to one of my Greek relatives in Montreal. They think there's abuse going on. And I go, hey, was your dad having? Yeah, you having an argument? No, we're just talking about Easter or something.
That's just mom disimpacting dad.
Dawn was talking to a class of sixth graders on Zoom because she's a school administrator. And she was talking to this class of sixth graders right where I'm sitting. And I was in the other room and I bumped my knee on something and I yelled, "Fuck!" and they heard it.
Oh boy.
So, and I'm sure they'd never heard that word before. I was very embarrassed. Our daughter graduated our younger daughter graduated the spring of 2019 and came back to LA. She was a school in Vermont, and she moved in with us. And she lived with us until November. She moved out in November. So that it's been great the last couple of months. I'm the one who sleeps in till 9, rather than there's a third person in the house who sleeps in till 1:30.
Oh my God.
I think that's annoyed parents for generations.
Yeah.
Well, and I used to do it too, and I recognized that I did it a lot myself at the same age. But it drives you nuts if you're up at 8 and they're up at 1:30.
11 or 12. The person can say, "Oh, the dead."
I like to practice the piano, and I had this. What was it? I wouldn't practice till 11:30 if she was here, and now 8 o'clock in the morning. Screw the neighbors. Let's go. We're playing 7 songs again, 15 times a piece.
There's no sleeping in now though, because even though the kids go, I've got dogs, so you got to get up, you got to feed them, you got to let them out. So,
oh God, those damn dogs! Listen, last night was so cold, I decided not to have them sleep in the laundry room. So they usually sleep in the laundry room, so I moved their bed out into the living room and left them there to sleep in a warmer room. And they woke us up at 4:30. They had gotten into my daughter's room and were looking out the window, barking at a bunch of raccoons. Woke up the whole damn neighborhood. And so no more Mr. Nice Guy. You're sleeping in the cold room again.
I was doing the same thing last night. There's not a lot to do on the farm.
Barking at raccoons?
Yeah.
I was chasing a raccoon last night, chasing it out of our shed out back because the raccoon's 10 times the size of my dog. Just was afraid to let the dog
You know what? Elaine, I'm looking. You know what I'm craving? Swiss Chalet. I don't know why. I think we shall be at Swiss Chalet with the Toblerone holiday meal. I mean, it's great. I mean, I love Swiss Chalet. I have Tourette's. I just wanted to let you all know I love you all, and I know Cathy. I know Cathy's been to Canada. She knows what Swiss Chalet is.
What's Swiss Chalet?
Chicken.
Barbecue sauce, get the brown gravy sauce. It's much better. I always get the brown.
Oh
gravy.
yeah, the gravy's better than the.
It's
the
so
sauce.
good, Cathy. It's the most delicious chicken you ever had.
Steve
Really?
Schuster used to have a joke. I don't have to be here. I could be at Swiss Chalet with people my own age.
My own age.
It's the best I've ever done.
It's the best I've ever done.
good. They love that place. My father died last year, and the night of his funeral, we all gathered in his honor at the chalet. And
The chalet.
Oh,
that was his place. The Swiss chalet. Love.
I love it. I jones for that and Harvey's. I'm jonesing for
yeah.
Canadian stuff.
By the way,
Wow.
does anyone know a comedian who got COVID?
I heard that Trix got it.
Who?
Trix. Yeah, Trix has it. That's right. Trying to think of if I know of anybody else.
there was a guy in Toronto. I can't remember his name, but there was a big kerfuffle because he had been out
At the comedy
after
bar.
his. Yeah, there was a
Well, I think
Well,
we're
DL Hewley, he had it.
He got it?
Oh, that's
Okay.
right.
DL, remember he collapsed on stage, right? And Nashville,
Wow.
Oh, right, yeah.
he had it.
Didn't
Wow.
hear about that.
I think
Yeah.
we're immune because of all the stage germs we've had over the years. But it's a lot to take one of us down.
True. All those smoky clubs for years.
Well,
Sharing the
everybody
mic.
who's been to Yuck Yucks is probably good.
It's true.
I
We,
was saying gold tennis. Nothing in there.
I don't think anyone got it or has got it up to this point.
Well, you know, the only Yucks open in Canada right now is Ottawa, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's the only
Yeah.
one. Because
Well,
I keep it.
Well, it's
Not
closed.
anymore.
It's closed now, though.
And
They
yeah,
close
as
it.
of the 26th. Yeah. Yeah.
How do they stay afloat? I mean, how do people pay bills?
God only knows.
Nobody
How
knows.
about this?
It's magic. It's just magic.
I've been trying to get Rick Bronson to book me.
He just got
John,
canceled.
pray.
Time's up, John. You see the red light.
Johnson has big news.
Cancel John.
Somebody cut his mic.
As soon as Rick was watching him, he just canceled him. And you're never gonna play my club, John Wayne. Ding.
I've been trying to get Rick to book me for 20 years. And I get an email a couple of months ago. And they're offering me this gig and the Edmonton gig, which I've been wanting to do, the Vancouver gig. And I said I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and it would cost me all I was going to make anyway.
Right, yeah.
And I don't want to fly, and I turned it down. And I wouldn't. In the end, I wouldn't have done it anyway because it would have canceled or closed by the time I quarantined. Right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was especially ironic in a year of heavy ironies that I finally get booked by somebody I've been trying to get booked by, and I can't do it. So
Has anybody else,
Right.
Cathy and Carla, anybody else dare to get on an airplane or a train or a bus?
I'm not.
Not since
I
March.
haven't.
No.
We got home March the 10th, and in answer to your question earlier, 3 grandkids I can't see because they're not here.
That
So
sucks.
that's what I miss for sure. We've just got the 2 youngest that are here in Ottawa. But yeah, I'd love to get on a plane and go to Calgary.
So that's a question.
We'll see.
You know, if we're blessed enough to be able to travel in the future, what would be your first destination? That if money wasn't any object, where would you go?
Hamilton.
Gonna have to fight you for that one.
Or Lethbridge, Red Deer.
I go
Okay.
to Toronto
Greece.
and then drive to Sarnia.
Judy, Greece.
Yeah.
I went last year. I'm telling. No, not because I'm Greek. Forget that. Everybody's got to go there once in their life, man. When my daughter finishes school, I want to go for the summer. Greece. We had such a great time. I'll go to Greece every summer now. Everybody should go to Greece once in their life.
Okay,
At least once.
We'll go to Greece.
Okay, let's
Go to
go.
Greece, man.
My
I'm
first
telling you, you haven't
trip-
lived. You haven't lived till you've gone to Greece.
You can
my
plan
first
it,
trip is
Angelo.
going to be
You
to the
haven't.
Bargain.
Okay, anybody on the call that's not going to Greece?
I'm going to Edinburgh. I'm going home.
I'm going to Finland.
Edinburgh.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, Finland.
I'm gonna go. I want to play there's a golf course that is half in Sweden and half in Finland.
Ooh.
And
cool.
I'm Swedish and Finnish, so I want to go there.
Wow.
Nice.
Are you going to
Great.
start in Sweden?
Don't know. I think it depends on where the clubhouse is, I guess. I don't think you can play by heritage. I think you have to go where they tell you.
I'm worried.
This was going to be my Australia year.
Oh no! Darn.
I mean, I've been working for this one ship line for 3 years, and I'd gotten up to a good place, a high place,
Which line, John?
Holland, America.
Yeah.
And I'd been bugging them to send me to Australia for 6 weeks or a month. They had a couple of amazing cruises that I wanted to actually do, and Dawn was going to come for the Christmas holiday. We were going to do Australia. This was going to be the year 2020, 2021, because this is Australian summer. So I don't know. I gotta have to, if it all starts up again at some point, I'll have to build myself back with a new booker. But
How do you feel about getting on a cruise ship?
Yeah.
at the moment, I wouldn't do it now.
I just wonder how they're going to survive, because people don't want to get on cruise ships anymore.
I agree with that. Yes. I mean,
I'd like to go to Greece, but with the uncle that's no longer coming over to Angie's place. Really good tour
Hilarious.
I want to go to Greece with Ange, because he teaches me how to flirt with handsome Greek boys. He taught me how to say
Greek boys.
Yeah,
Oh, there's
lots of really handsome.
Do you know any handsome Greek boys, Ange?
Lots of them.
There was one at the Super Club. There was a very handsome waiter at the Super Club back in the day, and he was Greek, and Ange taught me how to say, "You are very handsome." I could say it from the stage. When he walked by with the trade drinks, I went, "Ise Polinostimos." So that was kind of.
I dated a Greek girl. She's famous now.
Well, that's right. You dated Nia, didn't you? Nia
We were at a hockey game once, and we walked by a group of guys between periods, and they said something in Greek. As we walked further past, I said, "What did the guy say?" And she said, "Nice tits."
That sounds Greek.
That happened when I was dating too.
Were you talking about your lump on your neck?
Yeah.
They weren't talking to her. They were talking about me. That's right.
Looking at your neck.
Talking about you, John.
You know, my older daughter lives in Toronto, and she's living with a comedian.
Wow.
How fucking embarrassing is that?
A relationship, or what kind of living with? Roommates or relationship?
No. Couple.
She's tagging them.
Oh,
pretty much common law married.
Wow.
Yep. He's a good guy too, and funny as well.
Really?
Anybody we know?
Well, his name is James O'Hara. You probably don't know him.
I know James.
Oh, I know James O'Hara.
Okay.
Nice guy. Good guy.
It fascinated me that nobody, the way we matured as comedians became totally different in his generation, in that there isn't a set club. You're there every night. You're watching people. You're doing shows yourself. Right. It's all open mic and whatever they call it, those shows that everyone does around town now. So the development period is actually much longer because you're not getting the kind of stage time that we used to get.
Right. And they're not watching headliners either. They don't stay to watch whoever's headlining the show. So they remember, like, that's all we ever used to do is we sit and wait for the headliner to come on and learn from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing stand-up? We'll start, John. How many years?
40. I'm in the middle of my 40th year.
Anna.
No way.
I think 25.
Cathy.
39.
Woo!
Really?
Got you beat.
Judy.
Between 25 and 30. Ought to be.
Angelo.
Well, you know the answer to that, Lisa. You and I were both on New Talent Night in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Wow.
A New Talent Night in Ottawa was me, Lisa, Denny Grignon,
Oh,
Remember Brad Lyons, Brett Weir,
wow.
Jeremy Hotz, Norm
Yeah.
McDonald.
McDonald.
Right? That was amateur night in Ottawa.
Amazing.
And I said it in a podcast. Go, well, wait a second. They go, that was, and then Tom Green came a little after us. He came on. I was on a camper, but that was amateur night. And you remember John? When John used to come to Ottawa? Because I used to work as a bartender at the club, and you were the headliner. And I remember you, Howard Nemitz, Howard Busgang, all the guys. Those guys that used to come. Club, and then amateur night was after the regular show. If you remember, Lisa, it would be the full show, and then after Thursday night, after the show, people would just start leaving. You'd be down to 4 people. And Judy, you remember we used to do it in Ottawa, like all the times, like after the shows and stuff. Whatever the. It's so weird now, and John's right, because now you go to the clubs and they're like on their phones. I gotta go. You gotta watch this guy. No, I gotta go. Social media, whatever. I gotta go. Like they all gotta go somewhere.
What about you, Carla?
At the Toronto club, the one in Yorkville.
Started a lot, so
Stay there for hours and watch people.
Yeah, so I guess like this last, like really doing it, where I call myself a comedian since about 2012 for this last. But I mean, I did some in my 20s, and then I used to do a lot of hosting when I was on TV in Canada.
Yep.
But in the trenches, I think since 2012.
Well, Carla, you used to love the Riv. I used to see you at the Riv all the time, the Rivoli, working out material. On Queen. That was a great place.
Cathy can't relate to any of this. She was never in
no,
Ottawa.
I'm still working on Swiss Chalet,
Yeah. No. Kathy was too busy being on the Tonight Show. I used to see her on the Tonight Show all the time.
It only took 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's
Kathy,
5 more
years ago.
So Kathy's never experienced the Saskatoon New Year's Eve show where you had to do two shows at the same time.
You guys remember the Roger Chandler Saskatoon New Year's Eve show story?
When he ran outside in his underwear?
You know that story?
Tell it to me.
All right, I'll tell that story.
Nice.
New Year's Eve, Saskatoon, Roger Chandler with 2 other comics. Some of you knew Roger. He died a couple of years ago. Very nice guy. Short guy, kind of stocky.
Yeah.
So it snows all day, New Year's Eve day. And then the snow stops about 6 o'clock that night. And overnight, the temperature drops 40 degrees Celsius. So the next New Year's Day morning, the lobby of the hotel, the little hotel where they were working in Saskatoon, is full of people because all the cars are frozen. And there's only one guy working New Year's Day in Saskatoon to do jumps. So they're waiting for him to come over and jump everybody's car. And the comics come down about 11 in the morning to have brunch, and they see that the lobby is full of people, and Roger says, guys, I forgot something in my room, wait for me. So they're waiting in the lobby, and Roger goes back to his room, and he takes off all his clothes, and he puts on a Speedo bathing suit, and he takes one of the bath towels, and he goes down the back stairs and out the back door of the hotel, and he walks naked through the snow drifts, and he falls down a couple of times, so he's covered in snow. And he comes in the front door of the hotel in the Speedo with the towel, and he goes up to the desk, and he pounds on the desk, and he says, hey, how come the pool's closed?
I thought that was the Blackfoot that he did that.
Oh, I heard.
I've been telling it wrong.
Okay.
I've been telling it wrong. That's awesome.
Roger Chandler. What a great guy.
He was a great guy.
He was.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember putting his penis in the mic stand at the uptown?
Roger did that.
How many guys haven't done that?
Mike McDonald asked him to do it.
Mike.
And he said he'd give him, I don't know, $20 or something if he did it. Boyd, he was called Boyd Coons at the time. I think he was Boyd Banks eventually.
Yeah.
So, and middle of the set, he just dropped his pants and lowered the mic stand down, put Mr. Penis in there, and then we were all at the back of the room just dying. I mean, dying. And then he comes back and asked for the $20, and Mike wouldn't give him the $20. He's like, no. And he was like, okay. He's just looking for an excuse.
That sounds like Mike.
And,
That sounds like Mike.
Yeah.
Jesus.
oh my God, it was one of those moments that, and the Montreal Comedy Festival, and the guy ran around with the sparkler firecracker up his ass. Was anybody else there for that one?
That was a tasty dude.
Do we have any stories? Do we have any stories of ladies doing something outrageous?
Yeah, really. It's always dudes.
Hey,
No.
Oh, I opened by putting my penis on the microphone.
sorry.
I threw a bucket of ice water on a kid that was running around I think it was in Saskatoon, because they could run around in a circle, and they were knocking on the doors. So they would run, and they would, all the little hockey players, they'd run around, they knock on the door, knocking on my door and then running, because I was right by a fire exit, of course, because they always put you by some kind of loud part of the hotel. So I was watching through the hole, and I was waiting, and had a bucket of ice water, and I waited, and then when I heard them coming up the stairs and saw them coming for the door, and they went to do Nikki Nine Doors or whatever it's called, I opened my door and I threw a bucket of ice water on them. That's one of my proudest shit.
Proudest moment.
And that's the difference to 85 years old, Anna Gustafson.
I know, little whippersnappers.
That was really, this has been amazing, folks. I want to ask two last questions, because I would honestly love to keep you all day, but I don't have that right. It's December 31st, so.
Nothing to do, Elaine.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Everybody.
I have to walk my dog.
I want to know your favorite comedy club ever, the best set you ever did, and I want you to give people a quick thought on going forward into 2021. We're going to start right smack in the middle. Carla, go ahead.
I really hate being the ALF in the middle square.
Hey, darling.
First,
I take Carla to block.
God, it's really hard for me. There are a lot of great comedy shows. I don't know that I can pick. I'd have to have a swimsuit finalists for the best shows. And right now, I'm just thinking of ones in LA because they're the most recent. There's a place called the Federal Bar there, and that's been just a great place to work out stuff. And then what's the other thing? The thoughts about going into the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy, like this show, it's easy to go dumpster fire and it's easy to go south on this. But honestly, not to be one of my many drag queen names this year, Miley Virus, Antibody, and Anne Noyne. I just, like if you can laugh through it, you can get through it, as my friend Michael Collier says. So I don't know, adopt a dog, adopt an accent, do what you have to get through this. And I think the great thing that's come out of this, not just Ange spending more time with his family, which really gets him off my ass, which is great. There's no time for a mistress now. I think that, not to sound trite, but we're pretty lucky. I know you guys, it's been like an episode of WebMD, so everybody's had their trials and tribulations, but we do, have our health. And I think we're a great service for the rodeo clowns, right? Like making everybody laugh through this. So that's a finally, we kind of have a purpose. And just love and laugh. I don't want to say day drinking anymore, because I know for me it's become an Olympic sport, but do what whether it's meditating or yoga or archery, I don't know what you're into, but no judgments and lots of love.
Thank you, Carla. Cathy.
My favorite club ever does not exist anymore, but it was Catch a Rising Star in Cambridge.
Oh,
Anybody love that place?
I was there once.
It was such a wonderful club. It was just fantastic. And I don't know. I mean, I can't. Oh, just like I was saying before, just the sound of that laughter. Boy, do I miss that. And some thoughts for 2021. I just think, just be grateful for each day. Really, just be grateful for each day. We're really lucky. We're really lucky. You know, no matter what shit's going on in your life, basically, we're really lucky.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's perfect. John?
Favorite club was the old Yuck Yucks Edmonton, which is now Rick Bronson's place at the mall. That was my favorite club. Best show I ever did was at the Montreal Comedy Festival. My dad and mom were in the audience, and the show was so good. Halfway through it, I thought, wow, is this going well? And that thought failed to affect the show poorly. That's how good the show was. I noticed it and didn't fuck it up from there. And when I was coming off, I knew where my parents were. I hadn't looked during the set. And as I was coming off, I turned to look where my father was, and he was doing this. And that was the best ever.
I just got the chills.
I don't know. My whole thing, I've been getting more depressed the last week or so. I think the best thing we all can do is listen to my podcast and tell all our friends about it.
That's
Hilarious.
Cathy's right. You have to be grateful for what you have, and I have some very important things. I have a nice place to live. I have people who love me, and the best thing, I have a wife with a job.
Yeah. No kidding.
And try and think about how lucky we actually are.
Yeah.
And don't worry. There's so many people in the exact same boat as us. That's the key. So many people. And yes, it will probably start up again. And no, it will probably never be exactly the same as it was. But still, exactly. So be adaptive. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah,
Pivot.
that's good.
Be adaptive.
That's a really good word. Okay, Judy.
Best, I don't know about best performance, but honestly, another fantastic person, Ernie Butler. Rest in peace, Ernie Butler. The Comedy Nest was always a great room in Montreal, and great times. And thanks to people like Ernie, who gave a lot of us our first big break. I know Ernie was, the reason that I got the Montreal last festival, just for last festival. And also another great gig. I remember I look at some of the ladies on this, on the show, and Cathy, I would have had you on the show, but you were in LA, but we did a fundraiser when Carla and I were on the radio together in Toronto. Carla was on the show with Lisa and Anna, and it was just so cool to just see this group of women laughing their heads off and the money going towards a good cause. And I'm just so grateful for those moments. Going forward, I think I take some, I take Joe Biden's sort of lead, He does the little Joe Biden run. And when I'm feeling especially schlebby, I do my little Joe Biden run for about 6 steps. And then I, go back into my walk. And I always think of him saying about having steel in his mind and getting through it. And at the times when I have felt really kind of stressed out, I say, if you can, give back. Find a group that you can volunteer with. I work with a group in Toronto called City Street Outreach, and it's run by two amazing people who feed and clothe Toronto's homeless. And when you give a blanket or a coffee to somebody who is sitting on the sidewalk, I'll tell you the power of humor. And those people are cracking jokes. I'm like, if those people are freaking cracking jokes, who am I to complain about my life? So yeah, be strong. 2021, bring it on.
Bring it on. Thank you. Anna.
Oh, How do I follow that? Actually, I think the most fulfilling show that I've had in recent years was the one at, I think you were there, Elaine, at the big theater on the university, and it was Judy was there, and there was this group of kind of OG comics backstage that were it was Martha Chavez and Kate Davis and Judy, and we were all having this sort of lovely powwow in backstage, and I hadn't done stand up for a while, and I came out and I just nailed it, and I felt like I nailed it, and it looked like I nailed it, and it was just having that group of supportive humans around me just before I went out was something about that just was magic. So I think that was my most recent favorite, not in a club show. And then I did a show at Gilda's Club in Toronto monthly. That was a stand-up show, just local, super fun. And we did a show outside as a fundraiser at Second City last year, and had all my favorite humans that were in town. Ali Hassan and James Cunningham and Elvira Kurt and Robin Duke. And we just had this cavalcade of people, and we sold it out, and it was just magic. And we've turned that show into a like an online talk show kind of format. So that's getting going. It's called Nevermind Comedy. But having that spirit of Gilda Radner sort of infused through all these good friends, that was another night of magic too. So yeah.
And going forward,
more of that, more you're hoping to get some more legs on the talk show. Learn how to be a talk show host instead of a comedian, and not step over everybody's stuff, which is really hard. It's really hard to listen. So I'm going to learn to listen. That's my goal.
Sounds good. Okay, I'm going to throw to and then Lisa Gay, we're going to have you finish it off.
Well, I've been, like everybody here, I've been really fortunate to play lots of great clubs. If I had to say, in terms of in Canada, I have to say Rick Bronson's comic strip, because I get to play there all the time. And in LA, I really love the Comedy Magic Club at Hermosa Beach. Had some wonderful nights. Right. But overall, the most impact shows I've ever done was the Comedy Store in London, England. When I lived in England at the UK, it was like every time you did a show, there was an event. And I found the ability to go to another country, even though they speak English, it's still different. I found that to me was the best club in the world. The whole setup of it was phenomenal. And so I mean, and like everybody, I think anytime you can get on a live stage and make people laugh, it's always a great feeling. But there's some places that just heighten it more than others. And, going forward, if we haven't learned something from this pandemic, it is but to enjoy your life. So enjoy your fucking life, because we don't know how much of it we have. So I always thought, people say, I don't like to travel, I don't like to do this. Well, I think that's all going to change. Once the vaccine's administered and everybody's you're going to see people doing things I think they never did before. So to me, the way I look at it, go out and do what you fucking want. Just go do it. Don't hesitate. Do it.
In moderation.
No moderation, John.
No
Forget moderation. I can't even spell the word. I can't spell the word. Just go do it. No, but I meant moderation. But I really think going forward, if people haven't learned anything from this shitty pandemic, is to enjoy your life. And I think a lot of people worry about money, or they worry about this or whatever. And in the end, big deal. Just go do it.
And go to Greece.
And
go to Greece. I'm going there. I'm fucking go to Greece, man.
And
go to Greece. Go to freaking Greece, man. Go to Greece. Okay, you gotta go to Greece.
And I didn't bring my flag.
How do you say live your fucking life in Greek?
Πρέπει να ζήσεις τη γαμημένη σου ζωή.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Sure.
There you go.
Very easy to say it, man. Very easy to say it. Go to Greece.
Okay, Lisa Gay, follow that one up.
Wow. I have
In 2 languages.
of different shows throughout the years, but I think the one that really resonated with me was I got to host Canada Day on Parliament Hill. And the reason I was so excited about it was that I had wanted to do it. So I had the balls to call up the producers and say, listen, I speak French and English, and I really think I should host this show. And they said, yeah, no, we have some famous figure skater person doing it. And I said, oh, well, here's my number if she changes her mind. And about a week later, they called and said, are you still interested? I said, yes, I am. So it was, I don't know if you remember, Canada Day was like a big deal. And you're live on Parliament Hill, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of people. And when I went to my dressing room, this is where I was totally touched. They have a daytime Canada Day special and the nighttime, and I was doing the nighttime. And I had Mr. Dress Up's wagon filler.
Cool.
Dress-Up's name and put Lisa Gay Tremblay in, which I was like over the moon. I know it sounds so crazy, but I was so thrilled that I had the same wagon as Mr. Dress-Up had. So that was a big deal. And the after party was so much. My Jan Arden was on the show, and it was just very moving performances. And the guy I worked with was a really nice guy, and the energy level. They just picked me up a movie somewhere else at Parliament Hill somewhere and do this show. It was really magical. It was really, 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 really fun to do. And I was so happy that I thought, wow, took a lot of balls to call them up and say, I think I should do the show. And I found that over the course of my career, whenever I picked up the phone, it typically works out for me. It's just to get enough gumption to actually make the call.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great. That's inspiring.
It was Mr. Dress Up, and I was just tickled pink. And another one that was very short, but I got to open for Dionne Warwick at the NAC, and I hadn't been doing stand-up very long, and my grandmother came to the show. And when it was over, she came to my mother, she goes, well, when are you going to do that Johnny Carson show? I said, well, that's what she goes, well, I'm just going to call him and tell him he needs to have on the show. You need to be doing the Johnny Carson show because you're very funny.
So you got that from your grandma.
Yeah,
Make a call.
Call. So, and as for 2021, I use somebody, we have spouses or partners who have jobs. So I'm very grateful that my husband has a job. It's interesting over Christmas. It was just the two of us, and typically we are big party people here. We have a annual. You've been there, Angelo.
Yeah.
Great parties.
Great parties.
We have party, and we always have at least a dozen people for Christmas dinner. And it was just Leonard and I. And I went to Gelson's to get a roast. And I didn't look at the price. I didn't think until I got to the cash register. And it was $165
what?
for a 5-pound roast. And I was too embarrassed to put it back. So Leonard and I ate alone the $165 roast beef. Straight because it wasn't like, okay, the roast has to be out at this time and the potatoes have to be out at this time. And that we were just like, well, when it's all cooked, we're going to eat. And it was a whole different vibe. And tonight, we're just home. We're not doing anything. And my husband's working all weekend because he's got to. And so for 2021, I think we're going to have a lot more of this. And I'm okay. It's been really nice to slow down because I'm, like most of you, running around, flying here, driving there, doing this and that. I miss my friends, and I'm like, Carla, I miss hugging people. But Cathy said, I just miss hugging people. And for 2021, I think we're just going to be more grateful again. I got a new car at the beginning of this year. I'd like to actually break 3,000 miles on it next year.
It sounds good. It sounds good. And I have to say, thank you to every one of you. This has been incredible. The fact is, you're making people laugh. You each give people a gift every time you perform, no matter where it is. And I feel like the luckiest human on the planet because you all showed up here to be able to share this for me, with me. so appreciate that. You are all incredible. To our audience, you can find
There's an audience.
everywhere. Yes, John, you are marvelous, marvelous. Lisa Gay, marvelous. Angelo, marvelous. Carla, marvelous. Anna, marvelous. Cathy, marvelous. Judy, marvelous. It's some of you I've known a really long time. Some of you it's only online. There will be a day soon, Cathy. I will hug you. Everybody else except for Lisa, you're I think the only one besides Cathy that I have not yet physically molested. That's not the word I wanted.
I highly recommend it.
It's pretty good.
I'm
Oh,
very
fantastic.
skeptical. Just ask John.
When she's into it, it's pretty good.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year,
Thanks for bringing
guys.
us together, Elaine.
Well,
See you guys.
Live your life.
Happy New Year, guys.
Live your fucking life.
Oh, yes.
Live your life.
Yeah, what she said, what he said.
Hi, guys.
Brought to you by BBP TV Show and True Social, helping small biz navigate the digital